Guys, welcome back to Browns Film Breakdown. We're going to jump in and actually give you 2 episodes in 1 week, anticipating the start of the season. We're getting close. Got Detroit tonight. Obviously going to see a lot of second-team reps. None of the starters are going to play, but there's no better time to talk about the defensive side of the football. Obviously, you guys saw what I did earlier in the week with Brendan Leister. Going to do a lot of quarterback play, offensive study. I'm going to bring on another special guest, somebody I hope you guys familiarize yourself with. A guy I know is Coach Bentley, coached me during my playing days in Muskingum. He had a heck of a playing career in my high school, went on to play at Dayton. His name's Andy Bentley. You can find him on Twitter, obviously, as well, and he'll talk about all that stuff here. But, Coach Bentley, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Crazy kids and everything, but excited, cautiously optimistic in regards to our upcoming Brown season.
Tell everybody a little bit about your playing days, coaching days, all that stuff, so they got a little background on your defensive football.
Okay, well, you said Dayton. I played 4 years down at the University of Dayton as a defensive end, defensive tackle a little bit. Moved on from there into the coaching realm. Started as a graduate assistant at Bluffton. It was college, I think, for a year, and then university for the second year. Coaching D-line, working in the weight room, strength and conditioning, and a handful of special teams. And then from there moved on to Muskingum. It was college while I was there. I think it was college the whole time you were there, but they've changed that name since, so university. But started in as defensive line again. After 2 years, moved to linebackers with a new head coach, and learned a bunch about the 4-3 and the over front and quarters coverage, and picked up the special teams completely by the time my 4th year came around. At that point, just kind of decided for myself and my wife that it was time to move on, and so we moved into Northwest Ohio, where she's from, and started teaching at Bryan High School, coaching there for a year. Moved on to Archwold High School, was a defensive coordinator for 3 years or so, and went back to Bryan actually for a year, and oddly enough coached wide receivers for the first time officially on the offensive side of the ball. And then after a year back at Bryan again, I took a head coaching job up at a Division 7, which is a small school in Ohio, Hilltop High School for 2 years, and just kind of got to the point with I've got 3 littles, 3, 6, and 8 at the moment, so they're getting more active and crazy, and just kind of got a little burnout, and have said, it's time to focus on the family again. So this is kind of something, done high school, done college, and have lifelong Browns fan, but it's the first time really truly looking at what they're doing X and O wise and personnel and so on.
Yeah, that's awesome, and it's great to have you have a plethora of knowledge, both sides of the football. I think that people will learn a lot from what you can explain defensively. I throw you questions all the time. We have a lot of discourse back and forth. If I have questions, he's my go-to defensive answer. So yeah, we're gonna jump in. Hopefully weekly. We'll try to get if we have to miss some here or there, but we'll get as many of these in as we can. Try to break down what Greg Williams is doing with the defense. And today we're gonna jump in on Terrance Mitchell. Like I said earlier, is somebody who's a bit of an enigma on the defensive side of the ball. He's obviously locked down the cornerback spot opposite Denzel Ward. He has had a really solid camp, had a pretty solid preseason, played well here against the Eagles. We're going to take a look at a couple of his plays, some of his abilities. If you guys have tracked him through his career, he's connected to John Dorsey through Kansas City, where he played the last few years. He actually started out in Dallas, worked his way to Kansas City. Didn't have a great year last year. I think he hit the market under the radar, John Dorsey, with a nice pickup here. So, let's jump in. We'll look at 2 of his highlight plays, and then we'll kind of talk you guys through the coaching points of what's going on here. So Eagles are coming out 11 personnel. They're running really trips with an inline tight end. We used to call this package, it made a sort of J here. We would call this a joker formation. Teams label formations however they want to. It's the second language to offensive coordinators and how they teach their guys. So what they're going to do is pretty simple. They're going to drop the quarterback from under center. They're just going to get a square hitch. Some people call these sticks. And you're going to read, if you got a high corner, you're probably thinking this invert nickel here, which is TJ Carey, is going to be, you're hook to flat defender, crow to flat defender, and you're just going to pick which one. You got your idea here as a quarterback from the offensive side is, I got a bail corner to the field. NFL hashes are tighter. I can make this throw. I just have to throw it on time. So, that's a little bit of what the offense is looking at. Based on what you see defensively, Coach, what do you think? What do you think they're in?
My first glance, and we've talked about this ourselves here, Jake, without being able to see the safeties, to me, as the play starts to roll, it seems to me like it's cover two. And the reason I say that is because not only can I not see both safeties, but I see this Mike right here in Joe Schobert really trying to get out of there. So in case he gets the number 3 vertical, that was my first thought. And I don't see the reroute down here out of Mike Jordan. And obviously, as you said too, with Mitchell, he's definitely off too. So, but that was my first thought in regards to watching TJ Carey here at the nickel position, kind of just getting depth immediately, and then Joe Schobert as well.
Okay, so we'll clear out the drawings and we'll play it for you guys. So you're going to see Schobert haul butt to the middle of the field here, and you saw this a lot last year. I asked a coach here before the play. We were talking a little bit, having some discourse on the play here, and is it something similar to what was made famous by Coach Kiffin in Tampa Bay, the Tampa 2 zone? Did you get any idea that this could be a variation of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Not only Kiffin and Tampa 2 and Tony Dungy in Indianapolis, but I mentioned the idea of Brian Urlacher with the Bears and having him get depth so he could carry basically that middle third almost with your Mike linebacker. Yep. So, yeah, absolutely. Could be. Yep.
And then I also referenced a thought, from back when I was playing. If I saw a down corner into the boundary, it could be what's known as cover 6, where you're going to get a down corner into this boundary down here is going to take away any quick easy throws for a quarterback. You're going to get your 2 safeties roll into half. Quarter, and then you're going to get a half from the backside corner. It is a possibility. Guys, this will get better as we get the all 22. We get the end zone view. It'll only improve because we can see what everybody's doing. So we are making slight conjecture here, but the big thing we want to pay attention to is top of the screen here is how well the break is by Terrance Mitchell on this football. You see Foles is going to get to, his spot. It's really a 5-step in structure. Looks like he's going to sell a quick pseudo play action. Double pump, doesn't lend him any help. He gets to the top here. Pay attention to how quickly Mitchell closes on that, makes a nice play. He's done that all camp. If you've seen any tweets or video highlights, you're going to see how well. What's the coaching point for your corner here? How do you want him, especially if this is a pseudo cover 2 or even cover 4, what are your coaching points for your corner here?
Well, he's getting depth. He's skating out of there. He's got great hips in the sense they're down. His knees are bent. He's got the great acceleration. He doesn't waste any movement. He's taking that one step and reacting, and he can see. I think here, I didn't watch this clip as much as the wide shot, but initially you see his head pointed in, and right there it is. You can see him looking in and seeing Foles, and he's making a heck of a break on this. So we could go back to the wide there, Jake, and generally if it's quarters, he's pretty much locked on one. And so that's the idea. If this turned out to be quarters and he's locked on one, if it's more of a cover 2, then he's probably reading 2 to 1. And that's where I was thinking it was more of a cover 2 despite his depth. And if it's that, then he can see that 2's cutting off, and he can come up and play all of 1, everything off a number 1's hitch.
Yep. So when he says 2 to 1, eyes are on 2, working out to 1, right? And you saw his head on the one-on-one end zone view that we're lucky that I think it's Fox was covering this game, gave us. Sometimes we get lucky with the TV broadcast. They do a pretty good job. But yeah, hips are down, knees are bent, able to keep his eyes on 2, like Coach said, keep his eyes through 2. He can see the quarterback, whose eyes quickly work back here as soon as the ball's thrown. He does a nice job, you'll see here, working that outside arm, the right arm technique. You don't want to reach. If you reach with your right arm here, he reaches with his right arm and whiffs. That's a catch, turn outside shoulder, and that's a huge gain. Does a nice job here. Maybe he could make this interception. Doesn't feel like he could make the interception. So he says, I'm going to go with the correct arm, reach through, break it up through his hands. It's it's pretty beautiful stuff.
Big play one way or another.
Yep, absolutely. Another slow-mo view of it. So, yeah, that's the one of the first plays for Mitchell that popped off the screen. If you guys know anything, the first 2 weeks of first-team defense didn't play a ton. He wasn't really tested, so I wanted to give you guys a look. Come back here just a second. We'll take another look at one of his biggest plays of the game, which was a forced fumble down in the red zone. All right, guys, jumping in play 2 now, taking a look at a different situation in the game late. In a drive here for Philly. Not quite the red zone. I referenced the red zone earlier, but not, we're on the borderline of the red zone. I think Philadelphia had run a post wheel that they beat TJ Carey on a couple plays before this one up the left sideline, ran a couple inside zone plays that netted them about 10 yards a pop. So the Eagles were moving the ball pretty comfortably right now. The Browns needed to make a big play, and you're going to see that they do get a pretty big play here. So to give you an idea, Philly's in 11 personnel again. Matt Jones offset away from the trips. You have Ertz here in the slot on the ball. And they're going to just do a simple into the boundary running back screen. You're going to teach your play side tackle, play side guard to punch and go. Some teams send out the tackle. Some teams don't. I don't think Philly sends out the tackle. I think they keep the tackle upfield. Yep, they're going to run that tackle upfield. It's going to take his end, which if it's Myles Garrett, I'd rather just have somebody on him anyway. So they're going to release the center guard, get into numbers. You're going to see it. What they're trying to do here is create an alley, which they do a pretty good job. I mean, when you're looking at this play upon catching the ball, you got wide receiver driving the corner into the boundary. You got a pretty clear alley for your guard to take on Jamie Collins, and then it's one-on-one. If you get through this, you're going to get a funnel here. You can obviously feel pretty good about your running back going one-on-one in the open field against a safety. So that's what Philly's trying to do. Play side up at the top of the screen, they're just running guys off, trying to distract them to make sure backside pursuit doesn't have an effect. Coach, what are the Browns doing defensively?
Well, again, kind of like the last clip, to me at first glance and watching the play through a few rewinds, it looks like cover two, pretty much just like what I said last time. But again, conversationally, very easily could be 6 with Mike Jordan up top, bailing out, skating out to play a quarter. So that's something we're keeping an eye on as we head into the season and the All-22 view. But I noticed down here too, trying to jump ahead a little bit there, but Mitchell, with being on the single side, he's got his eyes inside, seeing this, and that's what I think really helps him make this play, is that he could see it right away. His head's turned in from the beginning, from the snap, and that allows him to beat that receiver's stock block. And you mentioned, like, they have numbers. They got a great play setup right here with the screen for the Eagles, and he takes a little bit of a chance, and Jamie Collins is coming, and eventually, who recovers it? Ogunjobi?
Yeah, I think Larry does. Yep.
Yeah. He takes a chance. One thing I was taught as a defensive coach, that if that ball's not in the cylinder, as in basically it's not right behind the blocker, you can avoid that block, and that's what Mitchell does. He takes a little bit of chance punching the ball too. First guy to the ball, generally speaking, we're always telling them to just make the tackle. If you're the second guy, then okay, yeah, try to rip it out. And talking about in the cylinder again, also Jamie Collins, when he gets there, that ball's in the cylinder. That ball's right behind that blocker. So he takes on that blocker thick, so that blocker does not have an obvious automatic one-way go. So really not just Mitchell, but good defense by the team, and that, as a defensive guy, as a coordinator and head coach and all, that's what it's got to take. You got to get one guy. Don't get me wrong, I'm not sure I'd be, hey, yeah, take that shot. But obviously, if it pays off like it does, great things happen.
Yeah, no, and that's what Mitchell does. He's a risk taker by nature. I think if you look up Terrance Mitchell, if you get caught in a Google wormhole, you'll look up or even search his name on Twitter. He did one of these last year where he tried to punch the ball from Dion Lewis in New England and got absolutely embarrassed with the stiff arm. So it does, like you said, it does carry risk. It is a literal, if you watch, he's cocking that fist back. Like his fist is going to punch him in the jaw. He's taking a risk, takes that risk because, like you said, you'll see Matt Jones spin out of that. If he whiffs on this football, you don't make a tackle, you spin out of it. This receiver has a little bit more awareness to turn instead of, helmet camming it, watching the play, turn and get upfield, and he blocks body Calhoun. And it's 6 points more than likely. So, this is going to be what Terrance Mitchell can do. He's going to break on the football, take some gambles. He's going to do the same thing on tackles. He's going to try to make impact plays. And if you know anything about the Browns last year, turnover giveaway stats, they were last in the league with 13 turnovers forced. So that's obviously been a big part of what is being preached in Berea this year, is that they have to create turnovers. They have to make impact plays. The Browns were a total of negative 28, I think, which was close to an NFL record, if I do recall from breaking stuff down last year. So, these sorts of things are welcome. These are going to be a big part of the defense. And, Mitchell's done a nice job of solidifying too. I think when you saw E.J. Gaines sign, when you saw T.J. Carey sign, I think Carey was given $8 million guaranteed. his first year, you thought that's the corner, but I give Greg Williams credit. He kept in an open competition, and Mitchell has seized his opportunity. So that's kind of where we stand with TJ Carey. He's going to be playing a lot of slot. I think EJ Gaines is going to be down for a little while with the knee injury. So you look at Carey in the slot quite often. You're going to have Mitchell and Ward playing outside. Body Calhoun and is going to probably get some slot snaps, or he's going to play a little bit of safety depending on Demarius Randall's knee. I know he just went for a second opinion. So, secondary-wise, they'll be fine. They got Kindred. They got Peppers playing near the line. A lot more depth than last year. A lot to feel good about. That. Like you said, this week we'll be paying attention to tonight against Detroit, specifically Mike Jordan, some of these fringe guys, Mike Jordan, Darren Smith back at free safety. Jeremiah McKinnon's been pretty impressive. Denzel Rice has been pretty impressive. So those guys who are fighting for that 52nd, 53rd roster spot, paying attention to those guys. And we'll be back next week to try to take a look at who is going to probably, have maximized that opportunity to win those roster spots. So guys, thanks for joining us. You can find Andy's work, his commentary, all of that stuff on Twitter at BentleyUD91. Follow him. I encourage you. You're going to learn some things about football because when he chimes in, it's intelligent stuff. He'll be on here with me every week, hopefully, and then we'll be breaking down some defense for you guys. So subscribe to the YouTube channel if you guys aren't. Hopefully we'll see you commenting, giving us ideas every week. Jump on at Browns Film BDN. Give us your opinion on the film breakdowns you see every Monday. So otherwise, go Browns. We'll see you next week.